Everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. Writer-director Benh Zeitlin received 2 Oscar nominations for his film debut, Beast of the Southern Wild. His follow-up, Wendy, is now in theaters, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Zeitlin uses the story of Peter Pan as the inspiration and backdrop to Wendy. We find Wendy, a young girl played by Devin, and her 2 brothers living above a diner where their mother works. Wendy has a big imagination and sees the local train as a large and mysterious way out of her everyday life. She, along with her brothers, James and Douglas, illegally jump onto the moving train, not knowing what adventure awaits. There they meet other orphan kids who take them to a faraway island in the middle of nowhere, where kids seem to roam free and let their imagination run wild. Now, we've seen J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan used as the basis for countless movies and musicals like Hook, Pan, Peter and the Starcatcher, and Finding Neverland. But we haven't quite seen it like this before, as Zeitlin tries to make a personal film about children and their mothers. He also co-wrote the script with his sister, Eliza Zeitlin. Now, he attempts to make Wendy in a gritty Lord of the Flies style realism, but with the visual eye and the existentialism of a Terrence Malick movie. I'm sure you're already shaking your head thinking about it. Barrie's world involves magic and imagination that lets you mentally escape back to your childhood. I never felt that with Zeitlin's interpretation, which left me uneasy very early on. There's an unsettling aura with this group of kids out in nature all by themselves. Zeitlin eventually makes connections to Barrie's original story by adding in Peter Pan and Captain Hook and the pirates, and does so in some unexpected ways. Peter is played with feisty attitude by newcomer Yashua Mack. So much of this film relies on Wendy, her brothers, Peter, and the Lost Boys, yet I never found them to be interesting characters. They're missing some charm and humor, and maybe that's because Zeitlin used all unknown actors making their film debut. There are some obvious line readings that don't quite land right. I never felt the joy and the wonder that these kids are supposedly feeling. Wendy is a dark and depressing fable that tries way too hard to be a fresh and unique take on Peter Pan. Zeitlin is overly ambitious in the imagery and the inner voices of his characters. It's far too mature for kids, and its glacial pace makes it far too slow and mundane for adults. The ending may be sweet, but it felt like a lifetime to get there. I'm giving Wendy 1 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I have some new reviews as well as my appearances on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Paul's Movie Trip. And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Wendy. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.